On today's Hot Sheet, I'm discussing Fannie Mae's report on economic developments for April, rising pessimism among renters, and your weekly unemployment report. Today is Thursday, April the 25th, 2024. I am Byron Lazine, and the Hot Sheet starts now. Good morning. Let me know in the live chat which market you're tuning in from. I am back Eastern Standard Time here live at 9:30. You may be back at the 6:30 time that I left behind or somewhere in between, but it's a pleasure to have you here as we close out the week of the Hot Sheet. Of course, this is your only 24-hour look back on housing and everything you should know if you're an agent or an investor or anybody related to the residential real estate market. It's the only show on the internet that does this Monday through Thursday. This is also the only YouTube channel that has featured an unfiltered, no pre-screened questions interview with the National Association of Realtor president. That was posted yesterday. If you missed it, you're like, what? Wait, there's what? Yes, there is a full 1 hour Kevin Sears interview that I conducted during my time in Arizona. It's posted up on the video tab here on the YouTube channel. A reason why, if you've just been hesitant to go down and just hit that little subscribe, go down and hit the subscribe button, because we're going to continue to push the envelope and bring you more content. We think information should be free. It should be accessible in that regard. These conversations that we have, we're going to bring more of those to you. There has not been a face-to-face interview with the NAR president. So this is the first one. And those that have, besides outside of the Jared James one, which I thought was really good, which was a virtual conversation, the other couple virtual conversations that I've had, and even when I've seen them on stage, to be quite frank, outside of those conversations, outside of Jared James, have been a lot of softballs. Obviously, we got to be respectful. My opinions are well documented. I didn't have to rehash a lot of those, but I had to ask him those questions. I did just that for all of us in this industry. So go check out that Kevin Sears link to the interview that I did. Obviously, if you've already consumed the interview, I know, I think Bobby said almost 3,000 already in 18 hours have consumed it. Let me know in the live chat what your thoughts were. All right, so we've got some breaking news here as you wake up this morning economically. The Dow has dropped 500 points so far. We're 3 minutes into the opening bell. I'm going to get to those economic developments for April from Fannie Mae here in just a second, Bobby, but thank you for keeping the show moving. I really appreciate that, Bobby. But Dow dropped 500 points after we had a GDP report, which is at 1.6%. So GDP still growing, 1.6% in the first quarter, but well below expectations. So the expectations were 2.4%. So it's not like a small miss. It's a significant miss, 2.4 to 1.6. Somebody got something wrong. Didn't have a good gauge on the economy, didn't have a good gauge on the consumer in the first quarter. The consumer has shocked almost every quarter in 2020. It's like, man, GDP is growing much better than expectations. Now, maybe expectations got a little too ahead of itself, and there's a big miss. Also, the PCE index, which is a key inflation variable, personal consumption expenditure for the Federal Reserve, also rose 3.4% for the annualized quarter. That's the biggest gain in a year. Okay, consumer spending increased 2.5% in the period, down from a 3.3% gain in the fourth quarter and below the 3% Wall Street estimate. So, okay, PCE, that's one of that's the favorite from the Fed. That came in a little bit hot, or the biggest gain in the year anyways. So certainly coming in a little bit hot there. You've got GDP slower than anticipated. So you've got an economy that's feeling these hot inflation measures, and an economy that is slowing down right now. An economy truly that is slowing down. Now, we've been saying the economy's strong. The economy's strong. We're going to get into jobs reports later. Jobs reports, by the way, is just still basically what they've been. But now we're starting to see maybe the underlying realities of what the economy really looks like. I mean, would you call this an economy that you're confident in? Would you call this an economy that you feel like your colleagues, your friends, your family members are thriving in? Okay, or surviving, right? The broke agent account on Instagram is great for surviving. We all need a laugh. We all need to have that escape. That's a survival method, right? Having some humor. Thriving, that's what we do in BAMX. Thriving is having your savings account full, having really low bills comparison to your income. It's feeling like the costs on the shelves aren't that much. That's thriving in this economy. Surviving is living paycheck to paycheck or racking up a whole bunch of debt in the process. Just based on where you're at, friends and colleagues, are they thriving or are they surviving? Is this an economy that they want more of or that they want less of? GDP slowing down tells us that the consumer is slowing down. The consumer can't keep up the pace that we've seen. Okay, 1.6% is a miss from 2.8%. What does that mean for us? Well, it certainly means that the 10-year is at the highest point in over 5 months. We touched 5% when we saw 30-year fix go to 8% in the beginning of quarter four last year. We're at 4.733. So it means that the investors are reacting to the news. The Dow is down 500 points right now. 10 years up, highest point in 5 years. That's where we're at, where we enter today. Hey, you know what? There's an argument to be made that, okay, that's pretty restrictive on the economy. The PCE coming out, these different things. Maybe some people are going to start to leave the higher for longer camp and say, hey, the Fed needs to address this and get a cut on the books here. Maybe there'll be an argument there. Okay. I think it's still pretty clear until they get inflation come down, they're not going to make any move, but that remains to be seen. This could start building an argument where they're going to be forced to do something quicker because this starts to build an argument towards, you'll start to hear it a little bit more. All right, jumping into the Fannie Mae outlook, because this is looking forward. We want to what's going to happen here looking forward. This is just some projections. Fannie Mae's been wrong in the past. They could definitely be wrong again. There's 14 charts inside of BAMX. So if you're a BAMX member, congrats. There's 14 charts just on this topic. And there's another 5 charts between the other 2 topics. There's 19 charts being uploaded to BAMX just today, along with, of course, our daily show notes, which you can use in all of your email send outs, your text message, your follow-up, your CRM. I mean, look at all of the notes. Just an absolutely robust banger of information here on today's hot sheet. All right. Fannie Mae released its economic developments report for April 2024, highlighting the jump in mortgage rates in response to the hot labor market and the hot inflation data. And the labor market, listen, it's hot right now. That can change. Okay. I think there could be some underlying things there. That's just my thought that there's nothing behind that. It's just kind of like, what am I seeing? Do people really feel solid about their job? Are they working 2 jobs or some of these part-time jobs? All of that. So both of which point to fewer Fed cuts in 2024. So Fannie Mae's position here is, okay, they're in the higher for longer camp, which that camp's getting big right now. The higher for longer camp, which is the camp that I've been in since January 1, is getting bigger and bigger. It seems like every single week as we move through the year. Started really small. Okay, I tell you, January 1, a lot of room to roam around. Okay, now it's like 1 a.m. For those of you that have been to a club maybe 20, 30 years ago, it's like 1 a.m. Okay, and the club's full now. Everybody's trying to move around, navigate the dance floor. Okay, it's a little hot in there. It's what the higher for longer camp is getting right now. It's getting a little bit hot in there. All right, let's break it down. Let's take a look at what some of these projections looking out from Fannie Mae is, specifically the Treasury yield, because we just took a look at that. It's risen back towards highs following hot labor and inflation data. And, not only is it cycling back towards highs, but it did hit that high today, the high in point in over 5 months. So they're correlating this to hot labor and inflation data. So one argument for this to come down, the 30-year fix to come down, and this is what Logan Mohtashami from HW has said over and over and over again, is that the job market must break. Okay, so they're saying hot labor is pushing this up. You get labor to break, then you'll see these numbers come down. It also means you're rooting for less job opportunities and or people to lose their jobs. So pick your poison carefully. State and local tax receipts suggest government hiring will slow. Okay, that makes sense to me, especially with how out of line the budget is. We haven't had a balanced budget. I believe, somebody can correct me in the comments, I think the last time we had a balanced budget was like early Bill Clinton days. Certainly fact check me on that. I believe that's the last time, which was a long time ago. I believe that's the last time we had a balanced budget. We're obviously really far away from that. And one of the things that's driving a hot housing market, we look at the hires on a monthly basis here on the hot sheet. It's these government and local employment hires. They're one or two every time we look at the report. And so the government wants inflation to go down, yet they're jamming as many hires as they possibly can. State and local government tax receipts suggest that hiring may slow down. And there's other indicate, not just in one of the biggest sectors for hiring in the country right now. There are other indications that hiring is slowing down, maybe even across all industries. Okay, so as that really takes shape and we look forward over the next couple of months, I could imagine that we would see that job market really start to cool off, hopefully significantly enough where we get some receding in the 10-year. The measure of wage growth suggests further deceleration. This is from an Indeed report in the coming months. So here's another indicator that the job market is going to cool down as it relates to wage growth. Anyways, the Atlanta Fed wage tracker is the orange right axis, and the Indeed posted wage growth, the 10-month lag, dropping sharper and more significantly than the Atlanta Fed wage tracker. So some data there that suggests this housing market. We've got a housing update. All right, I'm sorry, job. The labor market is slowing down. All right, Bobby's got it up for us. The balanced federal budget, has happened. Okay, Lyndon Johnson. Oh, and President Clinton. I had it right because Lyndon Johnson was way before Clinton. So Clinton, 98 to 2001. Way to go, Bill. Smoke a cigar for us all today, if you would. New sales have underperformed, starts suggesting new home construction should slow modestly. Okay, this is something that I believe in. I've been saying it the last week and a half. I think new home sales underperforming, and the fact that we've got existing home sale inventory on the rise would suggest that new home construction should slow, specifically on single family housing starts. We've seen this on multifamily housing starts, obviously already slow significantly. I think you're going to see single family housing starts slow up. People are going to say, well, that's we're so short supply on inventory in the long run. Yeah, we are, but the single family homes they're building aren't affordable anyway. So, not really helping that problem, in my opinion, by them slowing down. And builders just aren't going to put themselves in the position of 2008, despite a couple of small instances here where maybe builders have gotten ahead of themselves. They're in a much healthier position than they were in 2008. Really, nothing to relate from builder perspective there. And so going further down here, let's see what else I want to pick from. Here's some forecasting. Here's what we care about, forecasting on the 30-year fix. The prior forecast, they've come down here on the current forecast, so that's good. Coming down a little bit. I like that. Okay, so Fannie now, there could have been an argument this would have gone up, but they still don't see us getting, really under 6% in any significant fashion until closer to 2026. Okay. If you look at 2024 right now, Fannie Mae This suggests my At Knowledge Brokers podcast prediction when I did the over-under with Lisa. They both had the under, I believe, at 6,375. I had the over. I thought that was easy money. This Fannie Mae projection looks like I would be pretty right. I know it'll end the year according to the projection around there, but the average of the year that we took the over under on 2025 looks like just over 6 for the first half of the year and kind of at 6 to end the year. Going into the data here, we now forecast the 30-year fixed mortgage rate to average 6.6% in 2024. Go delete the videos of the 5% 30-year fixed coming. I hope none of you guys did. I kept advising against it because I don't think it's coming. I don't think the 5% 30-year fixed in 2024 is coming. 6.6% is the projection. Projection is going to be wrong. I'd love to see 5. I'm not opposed to 5. I'd be rooting it on very hard, as if I had $10,000 on a Super Bowl bet. That's how hard I'd be rooting it on. Just don't think it's going to happen, not with considering all the other conditions of the economy. So 6.6 is the projection. And then they have an average projection of 6.1 in 2025. Don't be afraid of 6.1. Oh man, 6.1 2025. That's all we're getting. No, don't feel that way. Feel great about it. Think about the last time we were down to 6, which was let's take a look. When was the last time we were down to 6? I'll tell you here in a second, because we'll just get this chart up. We'll take a look. All right, here's the 1-year marker. I don't want 06 to 07. Why is it giving me 06 to 07? Mortgage News Daily, not very nice. All right, here's the 1 year. There's 6.5. Let's go out to 5 year, right? Here's 6. The beginning of last year. I remember the conversations in January. What were the conversations like in January? It was like a light switch, remember? Last year in January was like a light switch. Why? Because we were experiencing, let's go to 2023 here. Here it is. We were experiencing a downfall from the prior year all the way down into the 6%. And there was all of a sudden, January felt like spring because there was multiple offers happening everywhere at 6%. If 2025 is going to potentially, if Fannie Mae is right, and 2025 is going to potentially average 6.1% on the 30-year fixed, you could see more multiple offers in 2025 than we've seen at any point in 2024 and the latter half of 2023. It could be one of those kind of markets again. It could be very competitive. It's a conversation you might want to have with somebody who's thinking, I'm going to wait. I think prices are going to come down in 2025. The outlook, the long-term outlook, is that rates will also follow that. And then give them the experience. Just bring up the MLS data for January of 2023. Have the case study. Have the proof of what happens in a 6% market. January 2023, it's easy for you to go back to that time because it just happened. Happened 15 months ago when rates were 6%. Put that case study together. Prove to them that, hey, do you want to be competing in that environment? Or right now where, I don't know, the Mortgage Banker Association's got 15% down year over year on mortgage applications. Competition's low. Inventory is increasing. Opportunities are robust. The right seller might be willing to work with you. The right seller might set that new up that annoys every other seller because they're the one that's most passionate about selling today, right? It only takes one deal for your buyer to be able to go out there and kind of reset the market. Going back to single family housing starts, the current forecast is higher than the prior forecast. I would disagree. I think this will go lower just based on where I believe inventory is going to go. But listen, Fannie Mae's been wrong. I've been wrong. That's the deal on projections. New single family home sales, according to Fannie Mae. Single family home sales, they have a current projection going up once we get closer to the end of this year. Look at that. In alignment with a 6.1% 30-year fix. Look at 2025. They have single family home sales going up into the 800,000. We're currently sitting at 650,000 seasonally adjusted annual rate. That's for new homes. Okay, I'm sorry. So that's for new. Well, where's the existing one? There it is. All right, we'll take a look at existing. All right, I got a little excited there. My apologies. I got my slide mixed. Go ahead and roast me in the comments. New single family going up. That makes sense because completions. I still think starts go down. They don't have that, but completions happening this year. Those sales will take place next year. Okay, got it. Let's take a look at this existing home sales. They've got their current forecast a little bit above the prior, so gradual pop there, but nothing too crazy there. Existing home sales from where we're at right now, under the 4 million mark seasonally adjusted, getting to almost 5 million. That'd be great. We're under the 4 million mark right now, end of 2025 in the high fours. Okay. So that's a trajectory I think that we would all take. That's an up in the right trajectory. And what we've experienced since the end of 2021, beginning of 2022 is just down. Okay. So there you go. That's the projections from Fannie Mae. There is a whole slew of data in Fannie Mae. Here's the economic forecast table, which I'm sure we've popped into BAMX here for members today, which kind of gives you an economic outlook and projections like unemployment, for example. We're going to get into jobs here in a minute. They've got going up 3.9 in quarter 2, 4 in quarter 3, 4.1 in quarter 4. So they expect the job market to ease up and I wouldn't say break, but ease up to some degree here. 2025, 4.2. So a higher unemployment rate moving forward. They have CPI being hotter this quarter, but coming back in quarter 3 to where we were in quarter 1, and then cooling down the most in quarter 4 of this year on CPI. And then they've got CPI in a pretty healthy place there in, my apologies, in 2025, 2.8, 2.5, 2.6, 2.6. Still not down to 2% on CPI. So there you go on the Fannie Mae. Tons of data. Here's the housing table. If you just want a snapshot of everything looking forward, again, this is available for you inside of BAMX. 30-year fixed, 2025, again, 6.1, 2024, 6.6 on the 30-year fixed. They've got the multifamily numbers, single family, total housing starts all in there as well. All right. That's all as of April 11, 2024. That'll change. It always does. That's Fannie Mae's outlook on what's happening. Renters' outlook isn't very bullish on their future. Nearly 40% of them think they'll never own a home. That's up from 27% last year. This is according to Redfin. Redfin loves these kind of reports. They always want to make the case that people will never be able to buy a home. Of course, we know that's untrue. People that make it a priority are able to achieve that goal, that work with a professional and professional helps them get there. Those folks end up being able to buy a home. Is it more difficult, more unaffordable than almost ever right now? Certainly. It's not fair. I get it. That's just the realities of where we're at. 2 in 5 renters don't believe they'll ever buy a home. It's up from basically 1 in 5 at this time last year. It's according to Redfin Commission survey of roughly 3,000 U.S. residents. So healthy survey conducted by Qualtrics in February 2024. A report focuses on 1,000 respondents who indicated they are renters. So they carved out 1,000 of the 3,000 that identified themselves as renters. Do you believe that you'll ever be able to own a home in the future? Which of the following reasons are you likely to purchase a home in the near future? Okay, so here are the reasons why renters aren't buying homes. Just the homes are too expensive. They don't have the ability to save for the down payment, the ability to afford mortgage payments. Those are the top 3. So how do you as a real estate professional solve one of those? You're an expert of where homes are low, not as unaffordable as others or are less expensive. Have you ever considered going out another 15, 20 minutes. Have you ever considered looking at this? I've got a couple of off-market properties. Would you consider doing a deal off-market? Ability to save for a down payment. How do you solve for that problem? Have they been educated on the ability to receive a gift, friends and family members? Have they looked at 3.5% down, or do they qualify for some of the lower 0% down mortgages? Have they been educated on that? Sometimes I'd imagine that there's a number of the 1,000 respondents that haven't been educated on that. That might, just like there's a whole bunch of headlines that say real estate commissions are 6%, when then that's not true. The average across the country, according to realtor.com, is 5.3, and you can go to one market, see 6, you're going to the other market, see 4. You can obviously list for 0. There's all these different options available, but yet the initial reaction to consumers and headline writers would be 6. Okay, is the initial reaction to some of these respondents down payment 20%? I need 20% to buy a home. I need 20 because somebody told them that once and it just stuck in their mind. It's an easy number to remember. I need 20% down. I need 20% down. Have you taken the time to educate or ask the question? Just curious. How much money do you think you need down to buy your next home or buy your first home? Well, I need 20%, right? I don't know. Do you? Is that what you want? Or have you done the research and have you talked to somebody, financial consultant, and that's what you have to put down? Well, no, I just thought that was the rule. A rule to buying homes? There's no rules like that. There's a lot of creative financing. Let's talk about some of those opportunities. Let's talk about some of those options that fit in to your ability to repay the loan, ability to afford mortgage payments. Okay. That's where we get into the ability to repay, the ability to afford it. Rates are too high on the mortgage, lack of home sales, need to pay off student loan. These are all issues that people are seeing today, particularly renters with buying a home. Recognize those issues, be able to speak to them, and be able to provide solutions to them. Okay, right now the job market's robust, so there's going to be, folks that can still afford the home. This is one of the things that, if it breaks, is going to bring that 30-year fix down. But if it breaks, less people have jobs, less people can afford. Okay, got it. Where is it today? It's basically flat. It's unchanged from previous weeks. Unrevised rate, insured unemployment rate was 1.2% for the week. The advanced number seasonally adjusted insured during the week ending April 13th was 1.781 million, decreased from 15,000 for the previous week. You can see the line here. We're basically just moving sideways on jobs. There are some early indications that the unemployment could start going up. Obviously, Fannie Mae's projection that we just took a look at reflects that as well. Let's take a quick look. I mentioned GDP at the top of the show. If you missed the top of the show, it might be worth going back and taking a listen. GDP came in well off of expectations today. The PCE came in hot, another hot inflation report. Right now, the Dow's we mentioned top of the show, as of this live show here, Dow was down 500 off the top of the show, now down 600 points after the U.S. economy's slow growth numbers have come out. S&P's down, NASDAQ's down, and the 10-year Treasury continues to remain at a high. Look at that number up and to the right there after the GDP news and the PCE news came out. 10-year continues to be at a 5-month high. If we go back 6 months, you can see we did touch 5% back in that October-November timeframe when we hit 30-year fixed on the mortgage rate. So we're back to 4.729 on that 30-year fixed. Expect a pop today, obviously, with where that's in. We ended the day yesterday at 7.39. Could certainly see us going back to the 7.5 plus figure on that. If you missed the interview I did with the National Association of Realtor president, it's uploaded here on the YouTube channel. This is the only face-to-face, belly-to-belly interview that he's done. He's done a couple virtual things. There's been a couple softball sessions out there. Not the Jared James one. That one was good. That one was also virtual. Shout out to Jared for helping me get Kevin to agree to do the interview. So many of you guys have already watched it. Looking forward to your feedback on that. Let me know in the comments there what I missed, what you liked about it. If you go check that one out. Something that you should definitely check out would be the Brand and Marketing Summit in Dallas, June the 25th to the 27th. This is a 1,000-watt event. I'll be there. Eric will be there, the broke agent, and we're going to be doing some fun stuff at this event. It's not the only reason to come. There's another reason. You can get $200 off by using code BAM off of the event. So that's a good one. And then this is just, if you're looking to take your brand and your marketing to the next level, you want to be one of the doers and not one of the pontificators of how to separate your brand during this time, now more important than ever, to organically grow in your community. This would be a summit I would highly suggest you taking a look at checking out. All right, that's it for the hot sheet this week. Outside of any breaking news tomorrow, I won't be live, but I will be posting a Knowledge Brokers podcast along with Lisa Chinati and Tom Toole. Go over to that channel and check that out. If you're not aware, we post a podcast every single Friday reacting to what's going on the week. And we also dig in tactically to what agents can be doing to move the ball forward, to be an agent of change, to be that knowledge broker. So go check out at Knowledge Brokers podcast tomorrow. Certainly in the meantime, we've got the Kevin Sears interview uploaded. Go ahead and check that video out. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I will see you guys soon. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for the feedback so far on the interview. I'll look forward to reading more of it, and I'll see you next time. Until then, toodaloo.